Hello, my name is Jacqueline Robles. This is my term project for oceanography. It is titled The Well from Hell, and the subject is the 2010 Gulf of Mexico BP oil spill. I chose this photo because it's a very good representation of what a lot of us remember from this event. So it began as what is called a blowout and resulted in an oil spill, and we will explore that together. But in this photo, you can see that the Coast Guard is working hard to extinguish the flames. This fire actually ended up going on for 36 hours because it was being fueled by various chemicals, hydrocarbons that were making it pretty much impossible to extinguish until it actually collapsed into the water. Um, as a result of this, a lot of investigation has gone into this event. So this is a photo of the Deepwater Horizon, the name of the oil rig itself, before it was located at the Macondo prospect. So at a different well. And as you can see, it's functioning pretty, normally, not no real issues quite yet. When it moved over here, is when it caught fire. So over here, this oil rig was located above the Macondo well, and unfortunately, it was had a lot of issues. As you can see on the left, we have oil spilling into the ocean. So after this oil rig fell into the ocean, um, there was no longer a fire, but it did mean that all of this oil was now spilling into the ocean water and onto the ocean floor. Now, how did this happen? Well, this project actually had been behind schedule, so a lot of corners were cut. And as a result, the integrity of the actual drill and drilling process was compromised. The most important feature being that the blowout preventer was not functioning at all. There was no power to it. The valves were not closing, resulting in the death of 10 BP or 10 deep water employees. Now, it's very important to distinguish that BP wasn't outside influence, was leasing all of these oil rigs that had already existed for exploration purposes in the Gulf of Mexico. This deep water exploration was kind of a new frontier that BP was trying to take advantage of because it was cheaper and more accessible than other oil reservoirs. Now, in order to alleviate the pressure, they actually created a relief well. Actually, they created two relief wells. This is an example of one of them that worked. So BP took care of the well itself. However, the aftermath, the EPA had to deal with, the Coast Guard had to deal with, and the local residents of those areas had to deal with. Not only that, but the actual cleanup workers were exposed to so many toxins that they actually developed health issues later in life, that still there is no accountability for. Now, BP was slapped with a bunch of penalties. However, they continued to do business without any real issues. They were given a few years where nobody could do deep water drilling in this area as they did cleanup, but it has resumed since then. So, what were the efforts? Well, it varied. As you can see, there's ground level efforts. But one of the most important things to remember is that Louisiana was already a site where we experience a lot of different kind of weather patterns. As you can see, the actual shoreline changed. This was the shoreline before the oil spill, and we see the shoreline going a lot more inward afterwards. This was the Louisiana shore right after the event. Um, Here, finally, is I think one of the best examples is this was an island that was created by birds, um, and with various materials. Um, however, however, it ended up dissolving because of the oil mixing in the water. Here we have a researcher with the birds that no longer have a habitat. So the birds contributed to the island by having a large biodiversity. This isn't the only site where biodiversity has been threatened, but it's one of the clearest examples that the BP oil spill had short-term and long-term effects on land formation, um, of the different areas in the Gulf of Mexico. Um, all right. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. That's all for now.